Hello, and welcome to CSM Today. I'm your host, Destiny Paso, and thank you for joining us. Today's show is about career pathways, focusing on the digital media production degree program offered here at the College of Southern Maryland, and the potential careers that are available in this profession. In the digital media production field, students learn how to create media of all types, from graphic design to video projects, documentaries, news broadcasts, social media videos, and short films. This segment of CSM Today will highlight the features of the digital media production program and go into depth about the careers available to those who complete the program. When we return, we will have interviews with a current and former student, as well as a professional at a national news outlet. Stay tuned to CSM Today to learn more. The digital media production field is an industry that is constantly growing, and the demand for media professionals is greater than ever. Media of all types is a constant influence in our daily lives. We constantly consume media in all forms. Today's world relies on the power of digital media to share ideas, communicate news, market products, and more. All of this media has to be created, produced, and distributed on a wide range of platforms by someone. The employment of video editors and camera operators is projected to increase by 11% from 2014 to 2024. According to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, a 9% increase for producers and directors is also expected. This is a field that has high earning potentials for those who are educated and pursue this profession. In May 2015, the BLS reported a $61,750 median annual wage for film and video editors. Producers and directors earned $68,440. Students in the CSM Digital Media Production Program learn a broad range of skills. They learn to become editors, camera operators, directors, stage managers, audio technicians, lighting designers, set designers, producers, writers, and so many other skills. Our first guest today is Charles Thompson, a current student in the digital media production field at the College of Southern Maryland. How long have you been a student in this program at CSM?
I've been in the program for 3 years now. I'll be graduating this semester, and I'm super stoked for it.
That's exciting. So what's your favorite job or role to fill in the digital media production program?
That's actually really tough. I love all three facets of production, pre-production, production, and post-production. But I would definitely say production, like being able to, be in the thick of everything and just the hustle and bustle of like the show. I really enjoy that. It's really thrilling, And you never know what you're going to get, and so that's my favorite part for sure.
And what made you choose the digital media production program as your major?
What made me choose it was taking the first introductory digital media production class. Just taking that and kind of really seeing everything, we do, like behind the camera, shooting, editing. I was like, wow, this is really awesome. I knew I wanted to be inside the broadcast world, sports broadcasting to be exact. But really just seeing the stuff behind the camera and actually doing like narrative films, stuff like that, I just really enjoy, and it really kind of took my heart from there.
So what's the most challenging or difficult part of being in digital media production?
That's the most challenging, I would have to say, is post-production, and trying to really bring things together. Sometimes it can be stressful, not finding the right music you want for a certain piece, or making sure that like maybe I forgot to shoot something or I'm missing something, and it just really puts you in a bad position, and you really have to be creative and try to bring everything together the best way possible and make it look, as professional as possible.
Charles has provided us with a copy of his award-winning PSA. So we're gonna take a look right now.
by the Maryland State Police, the Maryland Vehicle Theft Prevention Council, and the Maryland DC Anti-Car Theft Committee.
Could you tell us a little bit about what went into producing those projects?
Yeah, so that piece right there was for a competition for the Maryland State Police, and me and my buddy Alfonso Thomas, we worked together to think of an idea and a concept to use to really fulfill what they were looking for. They wanted to help show what is going on with auto theft and try to help prevent some of these things and get the word out there. And they wanted to use the youth just to get a different perspective. So me and Alf, we were kind of thinking of the concept for a long time. I think pre-production was our longest point because we had an idea, then we was like, there was a snag in that idea, and it was like, we go back to the drawing board. But then once we went back to the drawing board, we really hammered that we wanted to not do so much of, people, actually physically stealing the car, but more a smash and grabs, which is also pretty common as well. So we decided on that idea, and we shot at Prince Frederick campus, CSM's Prince Frederick campus, and we shot it on a Saturday. We shot everything same day, and we actually started editing same day as well. So it was like a great one-day process, and we really worked hard, and it was a challenging experience for sure, but it was great. I love working with Alf. We both have bounce energy off of each other, and we just work really well.
That's great. So what career do you hope to go into in the digital media production field after school?
After school, I definitely want to do film directing. I don't know. I just really wanted, just to kind of do short films and travel like the independent circuit. That's kind of my goal. I want to just really be able to produce a great short or feature-length film. Feature is definitely my goal for my career, and just kind of be able to travel the world and also travel the world with my film and get people's insights on what I create. And I think that's just going to be one of my biggest things I want to do.
Well, you'll have the chance at the end of our program to talk to two different media professionals about the digital media field. We'll be right back after a short break, and we will be talking with Ryan Runyon, a former CSM student and video production manager for the DBF Media Company. We'll be right back. Welcome back to CSM Today, and thanks for joining us. We're here today discussing the digital media production program offered by CSM and careers in the digital media field. Next up, we are talking with Ryan Runyon, a former CSM student and current video production manager for the DBF Media Company. Thank you for taking the time to be with us here today, Ryan.
Hey, thank you for having me. It's my pleasure.
Could you tell us a little bit about you, your education here at CSM, and what you do with the DBF Media Company?
Yeah, well, I originally enrolled in the DMP program in 2012, and I graduated in 2016, and it's just a really great opportunity for me to learn the field and learn studio production, DMP 1010, and I just fell in love with it. And then I was blessed to have the opportunity to work at DBF Media Company as the video production manager. So I film all the commercials in long format videos, edit them, produce them, even write the music for them sometimes.
Oh, nice.
It's really
So what's
cool.
the most interesting part of your job, and what do you like doing the most?
I really like, I like the whole thing, from production side of it, filming, being behind the camera, to editing and putting in special effects and graphics, and the whole process is really fun.
That's nice. So on the other side of that, what's the most challenging or difficult part of your job?
It does get difficult when clients ask for like crazy special effects. Like I had to go into After Effects and do a Pinocchio effect and make a guy's nose grow and track it, and so that was interesting learning that process of it. But usually clients are pretty cool about it, but sometimes they get crazy requests and you just gotta roll with the punches and do your best.
Cool, cool. So what did you learn at CSM and the DMP program that's helped you in your professional career?
What I learned here is a lot of like shot composition and lighting, different, especially the 3-point lighting like we have here. It's been really great learning how to light subjects and get audio feeds, and to just shot composition, learning how to run the cameras better, and learning the editing process. It all really helped.
So all the basics to help you kind of build?
Mhm.
Cool, cool. So what is your favorite digital media project you've ever worked on?
Well, it's there's a lot of them, but I just recently finished up scoring a film for a former DMP student that I went to the program with. Corey Naquin went over to London and produced a 15-minute dissertation, post-apocalyptic epic film, and he actually threw that to me. So the last 3 weeks I was actually scoring the film for his college dissertation. It was a really fun process.
Wow, that's cool. So Ryan, you were kind enough to supply us with a short reel of some of your work, and we would love to share with our audience a small glimpse of what a media professional's work looks like, so let's check it out. Thank you for sharing that with us. You've got quite a range of videos under your belt.
Thank you. Really
It's
appreciate it.
very nice. So could you tell us a little bit about what went into producing some of those projects?
Yeah, some of those projects, it was all a fun process. Some of the shots in there were from CSM's Jazz Fest that they have here every year.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, like the guy playing the saxophone, that was really fun. Working the Steadicam and actually getting on stage and getting creative footage with it, and then just working hand in hand with the clients, and it was really fun. One of them was a major electrical product distributor it was called Capital Tri-State, and they have a big old warehouse and big convention. So I went there with my crew and with a little Steadicam and got a lot of cool footage, and it was all really fun process.
Nice. Thank you so much for sharing your work with us, and we appreciate you being here with us today. We're going to take a short break, and after that, we'll be back to chat with Tony Hoover, who has worked professionally with CBS News in Washington, D.C. for over 30 years. Welcome back, and thanks for sticking with us. Our next guest is Tony Hoover, a broadcasting professional who works with the CBS News Bureau in Washington, D.C. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Well, thank you for having me.
Could you tell us a little bit about what you do as a media professional and what your job is at CBS in the news industry?
You don't have one job at CBS. They like you to be able to do a bunch of different jobs. I've been a camera person, a sound person, out in the field. I've been working in intake, where we take in satellite feeds from all over the world and live feeds of the presidential events. I've done studio camera, teleprompter, answered phones. They like you to do everything, so you need to be pretty well-rounded to work there.
That's cool. So what are some of the biggest stories you've covered while working with CBS?
The biggest one would have been 9/11. I didn't go home for almost 2 weeks after that story broke. I've covered hurricanes, been down to New Orleans when President Bush went down a year after it had happened. It was still torn up, so Bush went down to look at it. I've done inaugurations, every one since Reagan's second inauguration. Covered the campaigns, you know, the elections. It's just, every day it's a different story.
So you've provided some clips for us from your year's work at CBS News, so let's take a look.
I need all units on the fire ground and all units in
75,000 people in the shelters. We have 2.2 million people without power. There are about 5,000 people that have been rescued by the Coast Guard. All these men and women here have actually rescued over 5,000 people. There are about 350,000 people in New Orleans that houses alone have been damaged in one form or another. 350,000
We are going to make America strong again. We are going to make America safe again. And we are going to make America great again.
Are you ready to take the oath? Yeah. You'll raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Ronald Reagan, do solemnly swear.
I, Ronald Reagan, do solemnly swear.
I, George Herbert Walker Bush, do solemnly swear.
I, William Jefferson Clinton, do solemnly swear.
I, George Walker Bush,
Do solemnly swear.
do solemnly swear.
I, Barack Hussein Obama, do solemnly swear.
I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear.
That I will faithfully execute
The office of President of the United States.
And will, to the best of my ability,
Preserve, protect,
and defend
the Constitution of the United States.
Help me God.
So 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 help me God.
Congratulations, sir.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Mr. President. Congratulations.
Wow, that's a lot of work you've done with them over the years. What would you say it's like being a part of history?
You're not necessarily a part of history, but you're a witness to history, where most people only get to see 2 to 2.5 minutes of a history-making story on the news at night. You're there from the beginning of the story to the end, no matter how many hours or days it takes. So it's always interesting, and you take a lot away from it, and you know more about the story than most people sitting at home on their couch unless they really research it.
That sounds cool. That sounds fun.
It's fun.
What's the most difficult or challenging part of your job, though?
The most difficult part is the hours. You can get a call at 2 o'clock in the morning because a plane's crashed and you need to go to work. And you're expected to get up and start functioning immediately and drive to work. And you may not get off for another 12 to 14 hours, depending on how big the story is. Like I said, I didn't go home for 2 weeks after 9/11 happened. So you do end up giving them a lot of hours.
Yeah. So what's your favorite aspect of working in broadcasting?
I like working in news because it's always different. Usually not the same story every day. You need to be almost an instant expert some days if you're going to do an interview on something you've never even thought about or researched. But it's always different.
Yeah. So how is working in the news industry different from other types of media production? I actually feel like you just answered that. But
Well,
you can go.
you only get
more on
one
that,
shot
yeah.
at it with the news industry. If you're doing a news conference, they're not going to do a do-over. Whereas production, you can have 15 takes of the same sentence, and you can pick the best one. News is always moving, and it's always right now. You don't get another chance to do it.
So what would you suggest someone who wants to work in the news industry focus on while studying in college?
You have to be a news junkie. You just can't get by without being a news junkie. Get up in the morning, watch CNN, your local news, whatever. You need to focus on getting to know the equipment and feeling comfortable with it. If you're going to be a technician, if you're going to be a writer, you've got to focus on your writing skills, your ability to take a story that's 3 hours long and condense it into 2.5 minutes for air. So you have to be able to prioritize what's important in the story or what's important in the pictures.
Thank you so much for your insight. We'll be right back, and our first two guests, Charles and Ryan, will also be joining us for a quick question and answer discussion. Stay tuned. Welcome back. We're here with Charles Thompson, a CSM student in the Digital Media Production program, Ryan Runyon, a former CSM student and graduate of the Digital Media Production program, and Tony Hoover, a professional in the news industry from CBS News, Washington. Thank you all for being here today. We appreciate your perspectives and how you've shared your knowledge and experience with students. One of the skills taught in digital media production is how to conduct an on-camera interview. We would like to take this opportunity and give Charles a chance to talk with Tony and Ryan about their professions and anything else he might want to know about a career in digital media production.
Thank you. I guess the biggest thing I was just interested in, why did you guys choose the exact field area of the field that you wanted to go into? What drew you to it?
Go ahead.
Well, I chose to. I really liked the on camera and the filmmaking side of things. It really helps with, shot composition, learning lighting, audio techniques, and it really helps apply to my field when I went and started producing commercials and long format videos and films. All the training definitely helped.
Okay.
And I grew up in the business. My father was a cameraman for ABC News, and I just loved the being out in different situations every day. I couldn't sit behind a desk every day, and I definitely don't in this business. It's always something different, and growing up in it, I saw a lot of behind-the-scenes news, and it turned me into a news junkie, and this is just how I get my fix.
Right. So, growing up in business, did you ever get sick of it, or it was just you just loved it so much that
I don't get sick of it because it's never. No, I'm not going to say never. It's usually not the same thing. One day you may be covering a banking markup hearing, which it's difficult to stay awake through, and the next day you may be covering a train crash in Maryland.
Right.
So you're going someplace and doing something different, if not every hour, every day.
Okay. So, so for Ryan, so you like to do like the long format and commercial stuff. Why not news versus? Why did you choose long format versus news?
Well, like her, my dad just grew up in the business. My dad was a cameraman and video production manager at the company too. So I sort of followed in his footsteps and learned from him and just haven't stopped doing. Like I learned the commercial side of it, filming concerts, and just real hands-on. And I just wanted to follow what he was doing.
So Tony, did you even though that you grew up and you saw the news side, did you ever want to venture into, the narrative world?
I've never wanted to be in front of the camera,
Okay.
but I've done production work, and I'm just not cut out for production work. I can't stand doing take after take after take. I want to do something, and I want it done and done right, and then move on to the next thing. So I don't have the patience to do production work.
Okay, that's good. So working and doing a lot of the shoots you guys have been on, networking, has that been easier for you because of growing up in the business, or has it actually been a little bit more of a challenge?
It's been easier being able to talk to clients and prospective clients and learn how to talk to them, make pitches, and get information, and give them your information. It's been a little easier.
Okay.
Yeah.
And with me, it's easier in the sense that I knew a bunch of the cameramen growing up. It's like a big family, big dysfunctional family. But it's hard for newcomers, and it's hard for women newcomers to get brought into that family. So growing up with these guys, I had what I called my maiden uncles. And they were all cameramen that had been working alongside my father. There are still a couple of them out in the field that I see every now and then. So it was easier to be accepted into it. And growing up, you learned how to talk to people. If they wanted to talk to you, or if you wanted to talk to them, but they didn't really want to talk to you, you learned how to kind of bring them out and get them to talk to you. It may just be you and the camera. I've done a couple of interviews with kids where the kids were just turned off by the reporter or the producer and wouldn't talk to them. And I've just put my camera on the tripod and I've sat down and had a conversation with a kid because I knew which direction the story was going.
Right.
So you learn to talk to people and deal with all different kinds of people.
Wow. Okay. So I know one of the biggest things I know for me is taking risks and just being scared to like kind of take those risks. Can you tell us a risk that you guys took that helped or maybe not helped you in your career so far?
Well, definitely taking risks on the technical side. Like when I had to go into After Effects, which I never really learned before, for a commercial and make a client's nose grow and track it and do a little Pinocchio nose effect. And just proving that we can do that on the technical side really helps improve our relationship with the business.
The risks in news are more like, what the heck am I doing here? This is dangerous, or this is scary, or I don't know what's going to happen. So they've always worked out, but afterwards you think to yourself, you don't think about it while you're doing it.
Right.
You're kind of running towards the fire. But after it you go, was I that stupid? Why did I do that? So risks work out, but it's also dangerous out in the field covering news.
Okay. So for both of you guys, what are some advice? So if I, really have been, working at trying to better myself in the production world, and I don't want to go to school to do it, what are some advice, like versus like getting actual experience doing it yourself, or going to school and learning that way? If that makes sense.
You want me to go? School's great. You learn the basics, but nothing can replace field experience. So get the internship. Go volunteer someplace that uses video. You're going to be working for free for a lot of it, but that experience is worth more than they could pay you. And since things are always changing in TV, volunteering and doing internships, even, you do more than one if you can. It's going to keep you up to date on what's happening until you get completely into the business.
Okay.
Yeah. And if you wanted to go to school, you just never know. Like the people, the men and women that you're taking the classes with, you never know who's going to be the next Spielberg or who's going to be the next George Lucas or like Hans Zimmer, So it's really good if you do go the school route, like building those connections and keeping in touch with them throughout, because they can throw you businesses and throw you projects, and you can help them out and just build a good working relationship.
Yep.
Awesome.
Thank you all so much for being here today. We really appreciate you sharing your knowledge and experience with us. We hope this program sheds some light on the dynamic elements of the digital media production program offered here at CSM and the careers available in the growing digital media field. If you're interested in learning more about the programs available here at CSM, please contact the CSM Digital Media Production Department. We can have the contact information available for you, and it's also displayed below. Thank you to all of our guests for being here today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great day.